All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the No Victim podcast. I'm your host, Gabe No Victim, and I'm with my co-host,
Pablo Farnan.
Pablo Farnan. This is episode 25.
Yes, sir.
I'm here accompanied with two very special guests, two killers, two beasts, two animals. Grab the leash, get the cage, get the horse tranquilizer out.
To say the least.
To say the least. Grab a big bowl and fill it with meat. Raw meat. Now.
They eat cooked meat. It's fine.
So who I've got here today is I'm with my client Evan, who is seated here.
What's going on?
Evan, say what's up. And we're also here with one of Evan's team members and sales reps, Colton.
What's going on, guys?
So essentially what I wanted to do, this is the second time we've done a podcast with Evan. Evan's one of my clients, and Evan's done about $300,000 in the last about year, less than a year, working with me one-on-one for his business, his coaching business. He's a bodybuilder. He was working at Equinox, making $5,000 a month as a personal trainer. And me and Pablo thought it would be a good idea, because you weren't on that episode.
I was not, no.
Yeah, I was in Florida. We thought it would be a good idea to have Evan back on the podcast because some things have changed. His business has grown exponentially. He's killing it. And also he's inspiring a lot of people, honestly, whether he knows that or not. He's inspiring a lot of my other clients, and I'm sure other people that aren't even my clients, just other people in the business. But regardless, last time we had him on the podcast, he was at like fucking $17,000 a month, and now he's like you're tapping out at like $40,000 a month plus. And you've also built kind of like a small team now that you have working with you. So thanks for coming back on, bro. We really appreciate that. Fucking, we hope it wasn't too much to get you out of Boston, get you out of fucking wherever the fuck you're.
Chestnut Hill.
Chestnut Hill.
Outside of Boston.
Wherever you're from.
Yeah.
So something that I find that I think is really cool here. So, and I want this podcast to be valuable. This is a podcast for entrepreneurs. Me and Pablo are entrepreneurs. Everyone in this room right now is an entrepreneur, and I wanted to create a valuable episode for you guys, have a valuable episode for you guys. But regardless, I just wanted you guys to see how we interact with each other as business owners. I think that's like the biggest thing. This is the first time we've ever had 4 people on a podcast, by the way, which is cool. But so something I want to talk about, which is kind of like this cool dynamic, and you can kind of give them the backstory. So, Evan, your business is doing like $40K a month. You're doing like $10K a week, and from doing $5K a month as a personal trainer, a lot has changed. Not since the last episode, but just in the past year. You fucking, got a new car, which you can tell them about, whatever, it doesn't even matter, which I feel like he's like super humble about. I feel like you post his car more than he does.
It's like Colton will fucking post it more than I do.
Yeah.
I'm trying to push him a little bit to flex a little bit.
So a lot's changed for you, but yeah, man, how's life been differently since you started your business? And
Life's been solid.
Yeah.
It's almost like, we're just honestly so fucking busy. We just can't even live in the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you know how it is. It's
Yeah.
like, I'll be driving the fucking Corvette, and at the same time, it's like I can't appreciate it because, I still feel like I'm driving the fucking Toyota. So I'm like just living in the moment so much. But it's like, it's good when you have that time to just kind of sit back and reflect on it. It's like, holy shit, like, my life has literally fucking changed.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man, where it's like, and like you've worked, I've worked with you one-on-one and, for like, just crazy. Like, it's crazy that it's been almost a year now, which is insane.
Just about a year.
And it's been a fucking honor to work with you. And I've modeled a lot of my trainings off of the things that I've taught you. And I've modeled a lot of my marketing off of your results, simply because when you started to get really good results, that's when I kind of had this idea to really double down on not just fitness coaches in general, but like bodybuilders specifically. What's the bodybuilding lifestyle been like for you since starting the business?
So I'll be completely transparent. It's taken like a little bit of a back burner because, I'm sure Colton can attest to this too. we've been kind of just like, trying to keep a lean kind of like social media physique. So it's not like we're not so like caught up in like the minutiae of like bodybuilding, so much where it's like we have to eat every fucking 1 hour, 2 hours, or like we have to train for like 3 hours in the gym. It's like, okay, like we have the fundamentals down, and now we can kind of focus that other energy into like more aspects of our business.
So I'm gonna ask a blanket question. You guys can both answer this. So does that mean that you were going harder in bodybuilding because you were broke?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because like I had nothing else to fucking do. Yeah.
Colin?
Absolutely. For the longest time, and we've been talking for a while, Gabe, like trying to get out of your situation by bodybuilding harder.
How can you explain that that's not a cop out from bodybuilding though and working hard? Can you explain that?
What do you mean?
Because let's say I don't understand that. It sounds like you were working harder before and now you're not working as hard. I don't understand. Like, is it a cop out from bodybuilding? Like,
it's almost like a
cop out from
question.
bodybuilding.
I guess I'm just curious. Like,
Yeah.
what your opinion is on it? Because a lot of people from the outside, they'll say, and I mean this because I've gotten this, right? Where I'll train with the vets or the, people who I used to, maybe when I was bigger, right? And it's like, oh, you're only in here for 45 minutes and you're kind of like, you don't eat as much.
Right.
How can you explain that? Like, how has that mental shift been for you? Like, how does that happen?
So it was almost so when I was doing like bodybuilding when I was broke, back when I had all the time in the world to train, all the time in the world to, focus on getting my meals in at like literally every fucking 1 to 2 hours. It was like I had so much time and energy to focus into that. But when you incorporate the aspect of running a business, it's like you only have like so many resources you can really allocate, if that makes sense.
Got you.
I also wanted to ask, just for the viewers, because a lot of people, obviously, I would say majority of people actually know you through Gabe's content, but they may not know Colton. And I thought it was really interesting to hear the story prior to the show starting. So how do you all know each other? And what's that whole story? And because obviously you guys are like literally running the game right now, but just so people understand where you guys came from, how it all started, because it actually kind of reminded me a lot of how Gabe and I actually got to know each other early on.
Yeah. So we actually we met each other at school. We went to UNH together. We actually knew each other from the gym. We were one of the only fucking 4 people in there that actually be training hard. The rest of them were just like fucking skinny, fat, fucking frat guys. I mean, I was in a fraternity, so I can't really talk too much about that. But but like we were the only guys in there like training hard. So it's like we would like look at each other and be like, "Oh, this guy's a real motherfucker," and then we just shot the shit and got to know each other.
And Evan, it's so funny because I didn't know you knew Colton, and I knew Colton I knew you for a minute. I knew of you for a minute. I didn't know you knew Colton. So when you said Colton,
oh, that's crazy.
I saw you guys kind of like sometimes would post together, like before you guys started working together. But yeah, cool. Kind of walk them through like how you guys met and like how it brought you to where you are now.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, we've known each other probably it's been 5 years.
20 years old, maybe.
Yeah, just about 20 years old.
How old are you guys now?
So I'm 27.
I'll be 27 in a couple days.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, basically, we we knew each other for a while. We were when we were at UNH, we were doing the whole fucking partying on the weekend shit. We were fucking degenerates, right? There's some fucking
there was periods of that.
It's a good place to
start.
start.
There's periods of degeneracy. Yeah.
It's always going to be. Always going to be.
Yeah.
And then, after we graduated college, I know you went to the military for a little bit. And then I don't know if you want to speak on that, but
yeah. So like essentially, when I was in college, I was in the military at the time, so that was kind of like paying my way through school, and so I was using that time to bodybuild. I was like living off a stipend, and I was like, oh, cool. I'm in college now, but I have all the time to train. I have all the time to like focus on bodybuilding, and I started posting on social media. Then I was trying to build a brand with whatever I saw, Gary Vee. Fucking anything you see on there, you know what I mean? And so I was kind of like, we all had these like training logs, so we would just like go in the gym, do our training, post a little bit about it. That's really all we knew at the time. But obviously our main focus wasn't really building the social media. We were actually trying to build our physiques at the time. So a lot of it was literally like he was pretty monk mode bodybuilder for the vast majority of college, like what I mean. And then he'd go out on the weekends.
So, yeah.
And so, and Evan, you, not to interrupt you, I was gonna say, so you were in in person training Like
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
your job prior
so
to all this.
That was like way after college. Like,
Okay.
a couple of years after college.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then you were, other than you being in the Army, was there any other work that you were doing but prior to all of this as well?
No, so like I mean, I was pretty much tied up with military stuff. You know, I was going to school, and then obviously I'd get pulled in, and like I'd have to go do missions and different stuff like that. I'd go on a fucking deployment. You know, eventually I actually had to drop out during the COVID time or whatever, and that kind of changed the trajectory of my life. And actually, I ended up having to get out of the military due to the stuff that was going on with that situation. And then yeah, so obviously I told you guys a little bit. I moved to Thailand after that, and I kind of
Right.
you know, went that route. So and that's kind of like what led to the time where, you know, Evan was at first you were personal training at the YMCA, and then you transitioned over to, you know, Equinox.
Yeah.
So
And then you'd known him longer.
I've known of Colton just because you were like in the industry, like in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
We knew each other through like another coach. And what I find is really fascinating too is like, so Evan, you being a personal trainer, you were already in the fitness industry. You were kind of like an online coach, doing like the online coaching thing.
Yep.
And, you know, social media, and even like longer than Evan, like
Yeah.
really, because you were like kind of in the game longer. And essentially, I'm curious too. If you could like tell people, Evan, like, how did you find me, and how did you come about like learning about me, and what made you, in your head, what made you like, I'm curious, what made you trust me enough to work with me?
Yeah, that is a good question. So actually, how I found you, I think you. So you know, when I would scroll, yeah, I was like, how the fuck did I find you? Wait a minute, like, how am I hearing?
Infomercial, I don't know.
No
ad.
So I knew of you because like you were big into like fucking like you had like TikTok and like reels and shit that were blowing up.
Yeah.
So I'm sure like when I was like scrolling through like my FYP and shit, you know, at night I would see you. So I knew of you. You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't like, you know, fucking with your content. I wasn't like a Gabe No Victim like super fan. But it's like I knew of you
100%.
And then I remember because you know I was working at Equinox, and we had like a group chat together. It was like me, Colton, and like all of our buddies. Yeah. And I would always like, you know, complain to them like, bro, like I'm working 16-hour days. I'm fucking stressed out. Like I fucking hate this job. Like I want this to end. And I remember my friend Zach, he's like, yo, you should hit up Gabe No Victim. I don't know how he knew of you, but
so I know.
Yeah.
I know actually. So Zach knew about my situation with the other coach and everything like that.
Yeah.
So we've had this group chat for a while. So everyone kind of knew my situation. You know, I made a big investment, and so that kind of like put people on to the fact of like, oh, there's like this online coaching thing. There's this business thing going on. So it kind of got people, at least in our group chat, familiar with the space. Because Justin, your other client, was also in that group chat as well. Oh, cool. So everyone kind of knew, at least, you know, my story with everything like that. So I think that kind of introduced that. And then I think, honestly, Zach probably got to your content through potentially the other coach and things like that. So, but yeah, I think that's kind of what sparked it. Because that's where he kind of threw that name out there.
Yeah. And I remember, like, after he told me that, I started, like, I didn't really watch so much of your Instagram. I watched mostly your YouTube. And I was, like, watching, like, your long-form videos of just, like, you describing, like, your situation.
Write that down.
And, yeah, write that down.
More
Everybody
videos.
Make more long-form videos. So I was watching this. I'd just be, like, eating my meals, like, at the end of the night. I'd, like, throw on your videos. I'd even, like, watch them, like, when I was, like, doing, like, cardio at Equinox and stuff, like, in the morning.
Wow.
And
I never knew this.
yeah.
I never asked.
Yeah, you never asked you motherfucker.
He's like, you actually never asked.
Yeah.
So it was even like
yeah.
you were even watching like, I mean, well, not even, because there were, most of my videos were more so just like rants,
Right. Yeah.
and like, but like they were topical. It was like topic,
Right.
You know, I would sing or
Yeah.
whatever, yell about
and,
things.
And like obviously, you know, your situation was like 10 times fucking worse than mine was, you know, like getting into this, but like I resonated with a lot of the stuff. And then I remember, I think I hit you up. It was like June or July of last year or something. And I gave you like a whole paragraph. And then I'm like, I'm going to be ready to start in like 3 months. And you're like, all right, bro, like hit me up when you're ready. So I'm like, cool. And then I remember I like formulated a plan, like an exit plan from Equinox, where I was like, okay, I'm going to save up this 10 grand. I didn't even know how much your fucking shit was. So I was like, okay, I'm assuming it's going to be around 10 grand.
Zach kind of knew where it was going to be. And I remember Zach hitting up like, yo, I think Evan's going to go with
Zach?
Gabe. Zach Rowan. Yeah. So he's a buddy of ours. He's big as fuck. I mean, he deadlifts like 700.
It was like 900 pounds.
Yeah,
So shout out to Zach.
Yeah. So anyway, so he kind of threw the oop on that, but he was even telling me like, hey man, I think Evan's going to go with Gabe. And I'm like, oh shit, no, really? Like, he's like, dude, he wants to quit his job and like do all this. So like, it was already kind of like, it was already circulating, you know what I mean? And then so obviously he had a little bit of friends that were kind of like, yeah man, like fucking, you should do this,
Yeah. And then I remember like, I was like, the second I had that money saved up, I think like I knew like the second I had 10 grand saved up, I was going to fucking leave. So, I literally just, I remember I was getting this tattoo, in the parking lot of the fucking tattoo parlor, not in the parking lot, but after I got the tattoo, I was sitting in my car and I was like, I'm just going to fucking leave. So I just call my manager. I'm like, hey, we need to talk about something. And like, I need to leave in the next like 3 days. And then I just hit you up and paid you and started.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yes, because so Evan, Evan's like one of, if not like the highest performing client I've ever had. He cash collected the most amount of money in like the shortest amount of time, based off of numbers. So, and I was telling him, like I was saying before, like I modeled a lot of things off of your results, and I'm curious too because like you cash collected, close to $300,000 just about in a year. $100,000 in the last 90 days. You guys work as a team together, and we can talk about that. But and I've seen your numbers. Like I'm very like aware of like the numbers of your business, and we talk about this a lot. And we've you're 100% like the way I would the word I would use to describe you is like an executor. You just get shit done, and it's so fucking important to the success of your business, especially in coaching, because I think the biggest thing with coaching, especially like the way that, like this business is social media, right? It's like on Instagram, it's, it's YouTube, it's Instagram. This landscape is changing so quickly. And I think that the way that you can essentially like this fucking fly, bee, gnat, fruit fly, essentially, I really feel like the way that you can like combat this ever-changing landscape and kind of like be in a place of more security and more like a systemized, have a system so you can get like a more predictable outcome, like making more money. I think a lot of that has to do with speed, right? Like moving quickly, and that inner, which is, I believe, comes from that inner drive. But because you're able to fail quickly and you can learn quickly. And I'm just curious, like, I know, and I really want to talk about the gear and stuff in business. I think it'll be a really good topic. But regardless of that, right? Because really, it's way deeper than that, right? That's just surface level. That's like a cherry on top of like the character, right? The individual that you are. We all know that steroids make you more of who you are, right? Why are you like that? Like, why did you come into the program and execute so fast? Like, what's going through your head? Like, why did you? Because you bought a what car did you just buy?
C8 Corvette 2025.
Okay, so you bought a C8 Corvette, and by the way, I have to tell the story, bro. I'm sorry, I'm around you. So
I know what you're talking about.
Guy, so we have a video guy, Braden, right? He's Evan's full-time video guy. Braden's a good friend of ours, me and Pablo's.
That's right. Shout out, Braden.
Yes, sir.
He's childhood friends with Zane, who's another client of mine. And I also went to Braden's wedding. So Braden's is someone, if we reference this person, you know who he is, right? He was at the mastermind too. But Braden told me that you thought that the paddle shifters on your Corvette were the volume control, which I just thought was so fucking funny. Remember I told you that?
I remember.
How we just thought that was so funny and so, like, not making fun of you, but more so like...
No, I get it.
It is so funny how someone can be so, like, out of touch with those types of things, like material things, because you didn't have money before and you were fucking working at Equinox, whatever the fuck, and you were driving a Toyota. But how... I think there's this fascinating, like, I guess, event that takes place with people like you, where, you got guys that they're like, they know everything about the fucking C8 Corvette. It's their dream car, right? So let's just get that out of the way. You bought most guys' dream car. So, and I think what's so funny is, like, they look at you and they go, this dude doesn't even know how to use the fucking paddle shifters. And it's like, it's so funny, right? But essentially what you did is, like, you focused on the big domino, which was finances, and you essentially skipped levels, right? And now I want to talk about this concept because it's super, super important and super valuable for everyone listening. You know how my program is. You know that there's modules and you know, whatever. And you know, I have group calls, and I feel like the best progress that you've made and the best, the biggest leaps you've made in your business is when we have that one-on-one time and you just go and you execute in your business. But what makes you want to go to that level every day, right? So you're like, yeah, my head's just been down. I've been working really hard. Like, what makes you want to do that? Because you were also, so Colton ratted you out and also told us that you have 6 figures sitting in a checking account somewhere. So I think money motivates you, sure, right? And I won't speak for you, but it seems more secondary, right? I would say. So what is that driving factor for you?
So every single day, like in my daily actions of, what I do for my business, it's like, I'm not even thinking of the money. It just feels like it's something I like have to do. Like I can't really describe that any further. It's interesting because like I'm just like so afraid of being average.
Why?
Just because I wasn't average before, or I was average before.
And why was that bad?
It was fucking terrible. Like I was 120 pounds. I was skinny as fuck. Like, like the way I carried myself was just like, it was fucking terrible. Like I literally like see the way people treated me back then. It's like I never wanted to feel that way again. And like I knew I was going to do everything in my power, whether it was with bodybuilding, whether it was with business, to just be above that.
It's an interesting point that you make. We talked about this prior to. You just said, and I can just tell by the way you talk about it, that the money, that's not what matters. It's a byproduct.
It's a byproduct
of what you're doing,
exactly.
Right? You're putting the right inputs, you get the outputs out. You're not focused on like what the outcome is. You're just focused on the right action, and it all comes out. But can I just ask, and this is actually a question for both of you, because you guys are both in the DMs. You're a little bit more now than Evan nowadays, maybe, but like you guys are both in it. How does that affect your sales process? Like when the money doesn't matter? Because I feel like, when in the beginning, and I think we all know this in business, you come from a bit of a scarcity mindset because you need the money to survive. Like in your case, you quit Equinox. That means no more income. And you just put a bunch of income out to him. You got to make it happen.
Yeah.
But
because
now,
essentially you spent $1 and made 1,000.
Right.
Right. So
correct. Yeah.
Correct.
But do you know what I'm saying? When you're in the DMs with
you
people,
still took a risk though.
100%. Oh, of course a risk. But like when you're in the DMs with someone and they're giving you XYZ excuse, if money doesn't matter, then you don't care what they have to say.
No, not at all. And I just sit back and I'm like, all right, man, like this is helping you,
And what would you say to those people, and to play devil's advocate here, like isn't sales about money?
It is to some extent, but the money doesn't come if you don't help people first.
Why?
I mean, otherwise you're not providing any value. You're not legitimately helping that person through the problem they're facing. And if you have a skill set that can literally help people, it's like, they're gonna fucking pay you for that.
100%, 100%. And the reason I asked that, obviously, like I know the difference. I'm just asking these rhetorical questions because I want to hear Evan's, input on this. But like this is so true. And like I think the biggest thing with business is like a lot of people that are in this business, they never lead with value. They never lead with anything deeper than surface level desires, right? Which is like they want to make more money, they want to have more status, they want to get more views, and you have a 5-minute conversation with someone, you can really understand like what their values are, right? It's just if you just know how to read people. And something that I've learned is like when it comes to making money, like money is a lagging indicator of value that has already been created, right? The value has to be created first. And I think the biggest thing that holds people back in this business is like, for example, you were never executing on the tasks of the business and like checking piece by piece, like, oh, I don't want to do too much, I'll just do just enough. It was more so what it seems like is like a full immersion into the business. And Colton, I'm curious what your opinion is on that too, because you do one job in Evan's business that he used to do while running all the other tasks of his business. And Evan's even admittedly said, I told Evan before he brought you onto the team, right? I said, Evan, I said, the setter that you bring on the team is only really, you should have an expectation of them being able to perform to 70% of your capacity, to your performance, right? And he just said right before we got on is like, oh, he performs to like 105% of my capacity, right? He, you know, he said he, you know, gave you your, you know, your flowers on that and said, you really, you know, are a good performer in the business. Now it seems, okay, so obviously people will say focus and all this stuff, but like how, like on a practical level, how do you get into the zone and fully immerse yourself in something like that? Because you're doing that one job in his business, right? And you can talk about as much or as little as you want. You don't have to, and also I will say this, right? At a full discretion, like Evan and Colton, like they work together and they run a multiple 6-figure business. So there's things that like they don't have to say or tell you necessarily, or things that we will purposely keep under wraps because it's like, this is the business model and we just don't want to fucking, we know our competitors are listening to this shit and we can share it as much or as little as we want. Anyway, the reason I'm saying that is because can't give everything away. Anyway, go ahead.
Also, at some point too, it doesn't have to be, you can answer his question first, but you guys told me the story of how it began, like how Colton came on his team.
Yeah.
That's so interesting because you said you worked with a setter or a sales guy prior.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that. Yeah. I think people need to hear that because like it's such an interesting thing to like be able to bring your boys into something like that. Obviously not everyone's gonna be the right fit, but I feel like at some point, answer his question first, but I'm just saying like share the story of how this became because it's a success story.
Sure.
But for the boys, you know?
Yeah. So actually just to harp on what you talked about. So that you said this phrase like, you know, oh, so you're just like, you know, you're not worried about the outcome. So when Evan was kind of like training me through this process, that's the first, like when I was like getting caught up on little things, he'd be like, don't worry about the outcome. He just harped on that. He's like, the system's the system. He said, just all you have to focus on is executing and the outcome is going to be a byproduct. And that's it. And when he like just looked me dead in the face and told me that, I just understood it and I didn't question it. And I just went forward. And I think that the reason why that, obviously we'll tap into kind of how this came about, but the reason why this has worked so well is because I've just become an extension of what you guys have going on here. Is literally that's it. Yeah. Like I'm not anything like super special in any of this capacity. I simply was just given the proper, initiative, and I was able to just not get in my head or have an ego about anything and just shut the fuck up and listen. You know what I mean? And just allow the process and allow myself to just fully immerse myself and learn through the experience and understand that this guy's making a certain amount of money and I'm not. And
numbers don't lie.
If I fucking listen to him, like I might learn something here. And I really, honestly, I just didn't. And obviously we're going to get into my situation where I was before.
Sure.
But for me, I was like, this is a ticket. This is a ticket for me. You know what I mean? I know what this is. I know what this could be. And I know that, obviously I've seen the system work. I've seen it proven in multiple capacities. And I'm like, that was it. It was just his ability to execute and me to literally just feed off of that energy and understand like this dude is a fucking absolute workhorse. Like he fucking scares me sometimes with how much he works. I'm like, holy fuck, we're gonna do that. Like, holy fuck, we're not gonna fucking sleep. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just so like nothing fucking matters except the work. Like this guy will literally do anything in his power in the day. Nothing matters fucking tomorrow. Nothing matters yesterday. It's like we gotta hit the work block. I got client work. We got this, and it's just all day long, And I feed off of that, and well. We're with each other all the time, so I don't really have a fucking choice. You know what I mean?
Because you guys live with each other.
Yeah, we literally live with each other.
Yeah. So we just moved. Together. Just recently, last few weeks. So I completely moved from my hometown, and just completely jumped ship over to this process because I knew that us being together was going to be we were going to be able to accomplish so much more and be able to drive his business so much further. And he gave me the nod of like. We should fucking do this. You know what I mean? And I'm just, even in any doubt and any fear that I had during like the time, I said, it's just not time to listen to it. It's just time to just listen to him and just have faith in whatever's going on and just fucking ride it out. And you'll figure it out. He likes to say that all the time. We'll figure it out.
Figure it out.
That's his favorite line. We'll figure it out. You know what I mean?
Shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit tidbit, and we can get into the
Yeah,
like you said.
I want to answer your question about like how this even like fucking transpired in the first place.
I just thought it was a very interesting story. I think we should hear it too.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
fascinating.
it is. I mean, just to kind of like summarize. I mean, I could sit here for fucking 2 hours to talk about it, but. Yeah. Initially, so our first, so I remember I got off a call with Gabe, and our next initiative was getting a call center, like somebody to go in the DMs and set my appointments for me. So I remember I posted a couple stories on my Instagram, and our whole goal is to hire in-house, like a follower, somebody that's engaging with my content, everything like that, somebody that knows my brand, and I hired this one guy, Wyatt. If you're watching this, you did great, you tried your best, but it is what it is, man.
Just wasn't enough.
So it wasn't enough, man.
You gave him the opportunity to do something else somewhere else.
So he's I love Wyatt. He's chill. He's a cool guy. But anyway, so basically, so for the first 2 weeks, we just weren't really performing. So we were extremely behind for that month. I think we were only at like $5 or $6 grand at on like the 16th of July, which was not fucking great for me. So basically, I remember I let Wyatt go, and then I remember there was like a full day where it's like I do most of my client check-ins on Monday. And obviously, I no longer had this guy in the DMs, so I had to do all my DMs, I had to do all my fucking content, I had to do all my client work, and I was like literally working for like fucking 16, 17 hours in that day. I remember I called Colton at the end of the day. I'm like, bro, like, you have no idea what the fuck like I've been going through recently. This call center makes me want to pull my hair out. Again, no offense, Wyatt. But and basically, I call him up and I'm like, hey man, so I got an opportunity for you. Like, I know you're gonna be good at this. You're basically me with fucking blonde hair and a beard. Like, you can go in my DMs and set my appointments for me because you understand this business, you understand steroid knowledge. And I didn't even really like ask him. I just said like, yeah, you're gonna.
He literally was like, no. This is the funniest part.
This is why I had to tell.
This is the funniest
story.
part. So he literally goes to me, he goes, yeah, man. So like, I know you can do this, like whatever. Like, I'm gonna send you over the stuff right now. And he's like, start tomorrow. Cool. I'm like, okay, yeah. Like, what do we start in the morning? He's like, yeah, all right. So 4 a.m, you're gonna start your blog. He's like, I'll be there with you. You good? I'm like, okay, yeah. Send it over.
Yeah,
to me.
we literally
Like,
had an audit call at 4 a.m.
Yeah, he's like, review all this stuff. We'll be ready to go in the morning. And mind you, I'm working my job. I'm working at a fucking nursing home, so I have to be there in the morning. So I'm like, okay. And so we started figuring out like logistics of how I was going to start doing this. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't have to go to work till 8. So I'm like, I'll do my block from like 5:30 to like 7:30, and then I'll shoot right over to work. And then he's like, don't worry about the other stuff. Like, when you get out of work, you can do stuff again, right? And so basically, like, that's just how it started. I did this. I was still working my job, and I just woke up at the crack ass of dawn. He was right there the next day, helped train me for a few days through the process, and then but like it was kind of a test of his leadership to be able to just be like, look, bro, you're gonna do this. I'm gonna take care of you, get you everything you need, and you're gonna be fine at this. You're gonna kill it. And I didn't really have a choice. So.
Yeah, I love it. Plan A.
Exactly.
Plan A.
Something like that.
It's amazing. And so, okay, so now we're here.
Yeah.
Yep, we're here.
Obviously, a lot of growth has happened. What's genuinely, you kind of shared it with us, but I think they'd love to hear it too. What's the day to day? What are you guys doing? He obviously mentioned like maybe bodybuilding took a little bit of a back burner, but like, what is a literal day with you guys in your apartment now / Starbucks? As I'm sure you'll tell us.
Fucked.
Yeah,
It's so fucked. Makes no sense.
Makes zero fucking sense.
Well,
All right, let's start from the morning.
That's
So
a little subjective, though.
basically, yeah,
bank account might say otherwise.
Yeah, it's subjective. All right. So let's say like past 6 weeks. This is how it's basically been going. So basically, we wake up. We smash some water or whatever. Hydrate. Take our supplements, fucking take our testosterone trend, whatever.
We'll have to talk about that.
We'll get into that
we're
too.
Going to talk about that.
We'll get into that, but just the day.
So basically, we
Health.
immediately drive to the Starbucks in Chestnut Hill. So we go there every single morning. We probably spend like fucking 3 or 4 hours there. I'll do my client work. He does his DMs, and obviously we're shooting the shit back and forth. He'll run shit by me, but we're basically doing work basically on no food, just like slamming cold brews and zins for like 4 or 5 hours.
It's a standard morning. It's pretty standard.
Every fucking
400
barista,
milligram.
every barista fucking there probably thinks we're insane. We're just like
we're just cracked out on zins and caffeine, just like working
Yeah.
like madmen, and then we
Yep.
stop for a little bit, and then we just continue that throughout the day.
We'll get all of our meals in. Obviously, we're still bodybuilders. So we're after we do our fasted morning work block, we go back to the apartment, get meals in, all that stuff. Do work sporadically throughout the day. We'll train at like 1 a.m. and that's it.
Pretty much.
And then he'll be like, yeah, bro, we'll literally like be up until like 3 a.m. and like, I don't know, even just doing work or some shit, and then be like, all right, 3:30, all right, Starbucks 8:30, you good? And then we just start all over. It's literally like it's been like that for like 6 fucking weeks.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yep.
So no journaling,
We don't have time to fucking journal.
I used to journal.
no sauna, no cold plunge.
I used to
fuck
do
is a
all
sauna?
of that when I was completely broke. And I realized that when I started getting with Evan, that one of the biggest things that was stopping me was, well, the time I would spend in the morning doing that shit, I would already have 3 hours of fucking work done. And it's not anything like, and even well, we haven't been doing like fasted cardio in the morning, which is something that's normally kind of in there. We'll hit that. We'll hit that
with the amount of fucking caffeine we're taking.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'll take a little
Spiking
bit
our
of
heart rate up
cleanse
somewhat.
just for the work block. You know what I mean? Just to burn some fat or whatever.
Which I find this very intriguing. Which I've known about this, but it seems like you guys are not. You guys definitely don't stray away from using performance enhancements like hormones and stuff, especially for like work productivity. So, and I remember, Evan, you saying something like trend makes you better at your work.
100%.
How does it do that?
Stand by that. So,
because I'm gonna get back on trend, guys.
yeah, we're gonna get Gabe back on track.
You heard it here
Yeah.
first.
1,000 mgs.
Dude,
that would destroy your business.
But not your life.
It would destroy my life 100%. It would destroy everything. Microdose. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyways, yeah. So basically, I remember, my first run taking tren. The first thing I noticed was the way it would just make me carry myself, like confidence wise, assertiveness wise. I remember I would be like talking to a chick and I'd be like just so like locked into that conversation and just come off like so much better. It was insane. And then basically, obviously I was using it for bodybuilding purposes back then, but for the most part, and obviously, I've talked about this a lot in my concept. I tapered the dose up to 1,000 milligrams. And I obviously felt like garbage. So there's a breaking
puts
point.
you on the map.
Yeah, that's what we
Those
on the map.
videos.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a breaking point between how it can affect your confidence and really benefit you, and then after that certain point, it becomes detrimental.
Yeah.
So basically, knowing this information, we're taking a little bit of trend right now, basically for business purposes specifically. So we found the perfect dose for us, which is about 100 to 200 milligrams. That's going to make us more assertive, make us more confident, and obviously business situations, make our drive better, make us operate better on less sleep. Basically prevent any kind of catabolism from lack of sleep. Potentially, skipping meals maybe 1 or 2 days if we have to. So we're using it, not only for our business benefit, but to maintain and even still have these really good social media physiques while we're allocating a lot of time and energy into our business.
Interesting. I've heard that the bloods are not even terrible necessarily on that low.
Low of a dose. Yeah, it's mostly just cardiovascular. So I mean, your lipids like LDL, HDL are going to be pretty tanked, but I mean, liver enzymes, kidney markers, those should still be pretty good.
Yeah.
If you're taking your health supplements.
And that's going to be dependent on the person too. Everything's going to be dependent on the person. So
of course.
Obviously, the state that you're in, the health that you're in at the time when you're taking it, what your diet's like, obviously the dose dependency and stuff like that. But there's obviously health supplements you can take. There's, your diet's going to play a role in your lipids and stuff like that. So there's so much going on. Obviously, you have to monitor that or have a coach that's going to be monitoring that for you. But
you guys are on test too?
Yes.
Oh, of course, yeah.
How much?
Actually,
How much a week?
so
Is it from this country or not?
I think it's $750 right now. I'm taking.
Oh, okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a decent amount. Yeah.
So, mind you, we're kind of like in a little bit of a blasting phase as well.
Oh, okay.
He just started
I
jumping
just
up,
started,
and I'm
yeah.
like peak. I'm like getting in my peak blast.
You're on a
right now.
grandma's test right now.
I just bumped up to a gram for the first time in my. I've been doing probably PEDs for like 2 or 3 years now total.
And that's more so just from like a muscle building standpoint, like
Absolutely.
off-season type of.
Yeah, I've been titrating that dose up, progressively over the last few years. This is like a peak blast dosage for me. So I've never been here before.
I've always heard that a tried and true off-season dose is just high testosterone, just high test, no orals, nothing else.
Yeah.
Keeps your blood
even
work
like test and GH, just like something like that.
yeah. Test and mass is usually something that
What are
I'll
some-
run.
So, I'm curious, like, how many milligrams of caffeine do you guys take a day?
Minimum 800.
I would say so.
800? Yeah, I'm probably about there too.
Yeah.
That's a really good.
Four 200 big energy drinks is like not uncommon.
So we'll literally just.
That's a really good spot. It puts you at
Yeah.
a good spot though.
But
I
usually
love-
in work blocks. Like usually,
Yeah.
like it's kind of just progressively over the day. Like you have peaks and troughs with your caffeine. Like you start to come down a little bit midday,
course.
get more caffeine,
I
and you
love it,
feel
though.
good,
I find
right?
it
So it
extremely
allows you to
effective.
kind of push really hard and then like get that work done, and then you kind of fade out a little bit, and then when you're ready to get back into work again, you consume a little bit more. And
I mean, it's crazy to even say like I would probably would not have this business success as much business success if it wasn't for caffeine.
Oh, fuck no.
There's no way.
We talk about that too. It's like, well, there's certain aspects, like even the Zins, dude. Like I didn't start taking Zins until I started working for him. He's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
those,
gotta
those
take
always
Zins.
make me fucking sick though.
oh yeah, I was, dude. You
Yeah,
should
so
see me
it's-
hiccup in like the fucking
Yeah,
work
it
blocks.
really
like I
it
was
depends
like,
on the time of day.
I was like, dude, he's like, take these 13 milligrams, bro. I'm like, I've never even.
Oh my god!
I'm like, I've never
you
even.
and Braden, dude.
Dude, oh yeah. He
he's,
brought the ones from
he's sending
Sweden.
me a
bro.
backpack right now of like full of like fucking 13 milligrams in from Sweden. Yeah.
And so like I started taking those, and like I'm like, dude, I've never even taken 3 milligrams before. He's like, yeah, here, take that. And I'm like,
You're fucking like fighting in the jungles of
dude, it was
Vietnam.
like- I'm
He's like dry heaving in the DM.
oh, dude, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, dude.
Dry heaving in the deep.
Going to war every day.
Versus throwing up on his phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Close
I'm
it
about to put.
Oh, that's the worst. You don't find that the caffeine on an empty stomach kind of torches your stomach
No,
a
I
little
love
bit?
it. Well,
What'd you just say? It doesn't burn you a
I
little.
like the stomach torching part, but it's like it makes me like operate better if I have
focus.
it. Yeah, if I have
Dude,
it on
because
an
that
empty stomach, yeah.
fasted clarity, man, like I've noticed that even just from a performance perspective, that's why we don't have carbohydrates to like bog us down during work
So are you
blocks. Like,
you fast all morning?
bro, we were
pretty much all
intermittent
morning,
fasting
yeah.
practically.
Yeah.
Like,
You
dude,
guys.
So I think so when I was on that call with that one guy for 3 hours the other day, so I didn't eat until then because I was expecting to get off that call after 45 minutes to go home and have a meal. So it was like 4 p.m. and I didn't even have any.
dude, you
fucking
met me
food.
at the mall and we got sushi, and it was like 5 o'clock.
Yeah, that's fine.
So you guys fast. What do you take? Do you take or drink anything prior to obviously water, but
Water,
like
coffee.
coffee?
A little apple cider vinegar in the morning,
Yeah.
something like
He does that. Yeah.
a little bit like little stuff. But yeah, I mean, obviously, digestion wise, I mean, I guess it's not the best thing to throw in your stomach right off the bat. But I mean, I'm also taking Tren too, so that's probably not the best thing.
How much worse can it get?
Yeah, true.
know, you have to-
I'm a big believer in this kind of like where, and I feel like it's dying down a little bit too, because it's just honestly at the end of the day, it's just a joke. Like this bio-optimizing fucking thing, I think is dying down a lot, and I actually think I would say Alex Hormozzi is a big part of that because
Absolutely.
Alex Hormozzi talks about, hey, like just wake up, just drink your coffee and get to work.
Noise canceling earphones, get your work done for
100%.
6 hours, and then then you have the other day to get other shit done, like your deep work in the morning.
Yeah.
And that's where we've found that like that's where we're most productive. Like get up, get as much work done within our first hours of the day. And we used to because we want to train in the morning.
We gotta figure that out
But
eventually.
we're so much more productive just waking up and getting the work done. And
Believe
if we're
me, I get
tired
it.
after training, we got meals in.
So
yeah.
it
just
becomes like
it's
Yeah,
logistically
I'm
it
curious
just
what your
it
doesn't.
becomes
take
a
is on that.
sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because okay, so are we gonna have a better training session in the morning if we have a meal, go train in the morning before all the work stress builds up and everything? Absolutely, but are we going to have better work performance, doing, things like tasks for a business if we train later in the day because we're not having food, we're more clear because we're fasted, we're having caffeine, we're doing all this stuff. So it becomes like a trade-off,
Yeah.
Am I going to be more productive with my work or am I going to be more productive with my training?
Yeah. And we have an apartment gym now that we have 24/7 access.
Yeah.
So what we've been doing is just like at the end of the day, we're like, oh fuck, like we got to train. Like we just go there, we'll smash out a half-hour workout, 40-minute workout. If that's all we get.
1 a.m. the other day.
Superset some stuff. Like we just it becomes a point where it's like, and this is where you kind of talked about where like, bodybuilding taking like the big brunt of your life and everything like that. It's like there's still place for bodybuilding. There's still you don't have to live your life like an IFBB pro bodybuilder, especially because we talk a lot about lifestyle bodybuilding. Like the average person is going to have a normal fucking life, but they need to train and eat their meals. So it's not like we have to make other people live like they're gonna try to go get a fucking pro card. It's just like it's like, yeah, this is the most optimal. Don't fucking talk to anyone. Stay in your house. Be a hermit. Sleep every fucking few hours. Eat your meals. Get 10 hours of sleep. Don't do any work. Like that's not fucking realistic for the vast majority of people. You're gonna just. That's where I felt, especially for me before, every issue that I was having in business was because I was prioritizing my bodybuilding over the fucking work. It was that simple.
100%. This is like one of the biggest reasons why I do what I do today is that fact alone. Is the only reason I can even speak on that is because I experienced it, right? Like I was a lot bigger, a lot stronger. I had all the physical accolades you could look at, whatever. But my life, my financial situation was terrible. I'm curious what you guys would say. Evan, you guys can both answer this individually, but like, I was actually talking to my girl about this today. I was like, hey, like, I feel bad. Like, this is why I'm passionate about what I do. Like, I help bodybuilders build their business because, there's an empathetic side to it where it's like, dude, like, I just know what it's like to be jacked and also emasculated because you don't have financial success, right? Like, you just feel terrible about yourself. And what would you, because I see a lot of these guys, right? They're the 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds. You guys are getting close to 30 now, so it's like we could put you there, right? 30s, 40s, whatever. And they're not professional, even if they are professional, right? Their physiques like almost look bad. Like, we'll just call it out how it is. It's almost like sometimes you look at certain people and you're like, all that for that. It's like, wow, and you're saying, you're like, I had every problem I had experienced, bodybuilding got in the way of that. I was just telling my girl this today. I said, you don't even like, there was such a mental battle to even get to the point where I could be okay at 210 pounds, which is how much I weigh right now.
Yeah, not like look in the mirror and like feel like you want to just absolutely like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I look like shit right now. You have this thing in your head of like, dude, I'm not like, I remember when I was this big and this lean and stuff like that. And like, you allow those things to get into your head and you almost like allow it to limit you in a sense.
Yeah. Well, and this is the problem is like, I was so used to existing I was 240 pounds for the majority of like, at that point, the majority of like my 20s. Right.
Right.
So when I wasn't that anymore, I was like, okay, well, it was a conversation where it's like, once you look outside of it, right? You really look outside of yourself, right? And I want a lot of bodybuilders that are broke and maybe struggling financially or not doing what they want to do to make money and they want to be coaches, whatever, to listen because like there has to be a mental there has to be an internal conversation you have with yourself about prioritizing other things where bodybuilding does have a diminishing return for most people, right? And that's not to say that you can't use it as a hobby, but like you have to accept the fact that if that is your priority and you treat your business as a part-time business, right? Which is what a lot of bodybuilders do, right? Bodybuilding is the priority. Their business is like the part-time gig.
Right.
You treat your business like a part-time job, it'll pay you like a part-time job, right? So essentially that's what you're saying, right? Is you guys get up at 4 a.m., you treat your business like your CEOs, and you get paid like that, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm curious, what would you say to these guys? Like, because it seems to me, because, we'll flash back 4 or 5 years ago for both of you. didn't really look like business success was in the cards for either of you. Compared, if we were to group you with other bodybuilders, right? We'd say, hey, they're gonna end up in their 30s chasing a freaking pro card or getting the $5 trophy at the Big Cat Classic, at the fucking Scottish Cathedral in Allentown every fucking year. You know what I mean? And now, so not that that's bad. You know what I mean? It's a nice big trophy. That's quality plastic. I'm fucking with you. But what would you say to those people? And genuinely, like from like an actual like empathetic standpoint, because it's like you know how those guys feel. It's not like they're completely ignorant to it. It's maybe just not a surface level pain point, right? So what would you say to guys like that? Because you guys are younger, and there's a lot of guys that are older than you. I mean, arguably, they're more jacked than fucking everyone in this fucking side of town, whatever. But the financial success isn't there. And it almost seems delusional. What would you say in an effort to be like, look, like, this is why this is better? Not make your own decision.
You can still bodybuild.
Okay.
You can still bodybuild, but you cannot be, like, fucking bodybuilding. Like, does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
So obviously what we're doing right now is like, okay, so we're getting our meals in. We're getting our training in. We're training 4 times a week right now, push, pull, legs, arms. We're getting at least, 5 meals in per day, still eating fucking clean bodybuilding food. We're not sleeping, obviously, but, it is what it is. We're still taking the gear.
We'll get there.
We'll get there, yeah.
We don't even have beds, by the way, so that's a problem.
I'm going back and forth.
I've been sleeping on the floor in this apartment with no fucking pillow on his, like, mattress from college, bro.
They've tried to schedule my fucking mattress delivery like 5 times. I keep ignoring their calls.
Yeah, they called them today. We're like, bro, we're not even in the States. Like,
so as a side note, and I'll get back to what you were saying. As a side note, I get on a call. I was supposed to have a meeting with Evan and Colton, talk about some things going forward sales. Evan doesn't show up on the call because he's closing this guy, doing the sales call. And I'm talking to Colton. Colton's like, yeah, I don't have a pillow, bro. I don't even have a pillow. And he's just like, and all you see is like the Starbucks cups with the straws behind his head, like the glitter ones.
Keep in mind, like 5,000, like what? How much was it? Like $5,900 or something. $5,900 for the rent. Beautiful 1,400 foot square foot apartment. 0 furniture, just a mattress on the floor. Nothing else in it.
That's awesome.
He just comes there to like cook his meals and like do work.
I literally go back and forth between that place and my fucking parents' place. I don't have a fucking mattress.
That's so sick. You got mattresses coming in there.
It's coming. Yeah.
Success
cool.
does leave clues. Yeah. Just have nothing.
And that is so funny too, because I've done that too, where someone comes in my apartment, they're like, "Dude, you have 2 forks," and I'm like.
Why would I need more?
Dude, that was the biggest problem. Towel. Dude, we were in the apartment and we're like, fuck, dude, we can't even eat our meals. We don't have forks yet. Like, dude, we were like scraping up. We were eating with like a plastic knife we found in the drawer. We were like trying to figure it the fuck out. It was ridiculous.
When Gabe got his first like real place, I remember I came over. He was so pumped. Like he had like an air mattress for me. Like
I was
nice.
about to get that too for the time being.
It was really really nice and all this stuff. And then I literally go into the bathroom. He's like, "You have your own bathroom and everything like that." I was like,
in Florida.
Yeah, and I literally get in there and I was like, "Bro, there's no shower curtain." Fuck. He goes, "Oh,
I've never showered in here, bro."
Yeah. He's like, "I've never been in this part of the house before."
Which is super cool. Like honestly too, like little things like that.
Never
like
forget it.
Pablo would pick me up from like work many times. Like I would work around the area, just kind of coming up in the game, and he would like pick me up and he would bring me to the gym. We'd go to the gym. Sometimes we would go to like the network marketing meetings, and I'd meet entrepreneurs. Like I'd see like real sales guys. I'd meet real sales guys, you know, and it was cool. It was a really, but Pablo always believed in me, and like it was funny because it is very surreal. Like, and I'm curious, you know, how you keep this conversation, how you keep this in your head. And again, I want to get back to what you would say to those bodybuilders, but it's like you sometimes do have to stop and smell the roses. Yeah. Right. Where it's like you take it all in, and you have like you practice that gratitude. Have you had those moments where you're like you stop for a second and you're like, damn, and it's not complacency. It's literally just like I did that, and just have you ever like thought about that? Do you ever do that?
Yeah, no.
We've had a few of those moments, even just recent. Like just the other day we were talking about how we were both leaving the mall. After like, I don't know, it was a successful day of just everything. Like we just killed it the whole day. And we both were driving. He was like, dude, that fucking ride back was euphoric, wasn't it? I was like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? And we just like, we're now getting to the point where like we can go out for sushi or like go out and like just be like, we're just like, we can take a minute to just be like, fuck dude, like gonna keep going, but like
it makes a big difference.
Yeah, and we're able to like celebrate together too, which is like another thing, because this is like becoming our thing together to do. 100%. You know what I mean? And but kind of to go back to like what you would say to like the other bodybuilders, and like we kind of talked about this on the call. I think it was like at the end of the day, you have like in bodybuilding, you have like 5 key points that you need to hit, right? So you have to just understand that like you can only put so much energy into one area, right?
Yep.
So you're going to have to disperse that energy in some fashion. So, if you need to drive your business forward, well, dude, you're going to have to spend less time in the gym. You're going to have to
100%.
you're going to have to sacrifice a meal here and there. You're going to have to just switch your identity from, I'm never going to miss, I'm going to be the pro, I'm going to do that, to, cool, I'm in a different season. Mode right now. I'm in a different season. That's the best way to put it, right? Like, I'm going to go through and do this for this time. And then like, then we're going to basically set what's the Earl Nightingale says, like, set sail to one port. Like, you can only reach one port at a time type of thing. You know what I mean? It's that mindset of like, yeah, like nothing lasts forever. Like, this isn't forever. Like, you're doing this at the moment to get yourself where you need to fucking go. And then you're going to set aim to another thing, and
bigger picture thinking. Really.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, what would you say is like, what would you say to those people that they see your success? Because I mean, I have people ask about you all the time. They see your success, and like, what would you say to those individuals that want to build their business, that want to do what you do, and are like obsessed with bodybuilding, but like they want what you have, but they just can't fucking let go of the image of like being that big and everything.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can really say is, like I was saying, you can still bodybuild. This is, that's what's going to drive your business in the first place is, being a bodybuilder and still living some form of a lifestyle, that's going to help other people. You have a skill set that you've built over time that's going to help other people. But, there's only so much. You have 3 resources, right? You have time, money, and you have energy. And, bodybuilding takes up time and fucking energy. If you're in the gym and money, yeah,
a lot of money.
Growth hormone, fucking $600 a month.
Your food,
like, food, yeah, fucking like $800 a month.
That's nothing for you though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got good food. Anyways,
don't tell about the sushi dinner last.
Oh yeah, 2:30 we dropped on sushi.
There we go.
Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, so time, money, and energy. So like doing hardcore fucking bodybuilding, like when you're in the gym for 3 hours on a leg day, you are fucking destroyed the entire day. There's no way you can actually put any fucking time and energy into your business at that point.
Yeah.
You're fucked. You're cooked. You're not mentally there. Same thing with the, with the fucking gear. It's like if you're blasting a gram of Tren, taking 20 IUs of growth hormone a day, you're going to feel like garbage. You're just not going to be able to to perform. You're not going to be able to do the daily tasks that are required for your business that take time and energy. So you have to take a step back, whether that's, just maintaining, or kind of like what we're doing right now, just maintaining like a lean, easily maintainable physique from 4 times a week training and eating 5 times a day. That fits into our schedule. You can still fucking do that. You can still have a physique that, that people look up to. You just can't have this constant mindset where you just want to, allocate so much time and energy demanding fucking tasks into, forward progressing your bodybuilding.
Yeah. Love it, man. I have to say, like, I'm always in, I always take value from every guest that we have, but I definitely am like super inspired, like by myself, just having this conversation with you guys, like even for my own business, and just like, I want to like, even more for the fun stuff, like experiment with some, hormone stuff. Right. And, even me, it's like, I want to get up a little earlier, right? Slam the caffeine, just having these conversations. It's been very enlightening for me. So I appreciate you guys coming on. Pablo, I'm sure you gained a ton of value out of this one. I think the biggest thing is like, I've learned like, I always have that open mind. So like, I'll be able to take gems from anyone, but I think the truth is like, when you can have these types of conversations and you can reciprocate value, like that's what makes people grow super fast. Like what you were saying before, it's like, it's something that you're building together, right? And you will always go farther with other people than you can alone. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways that I'm getting here is like, and I told you, Evan, before, where I was like, you know, whoever you hire, right, whoever you bring on, right, I told you because I learned the hard way, right? I said, it's just so much more than the job. Like, it's like, make him want to work there. Like, I know it sounds fucking shocking, right? But be kind to him, right? Like, be stern in a way where, like, yeah, you want someone to perform, but it's like, be able to communicate with another human properly. And I think that's the biggest thing is like, that's all this is at the end of the day. Like, business at the core level, especially this business, is like, we're just communicating with other people in different facets, right? In different ways, and leading. It's a reciprocated positive outcome where we each want a positive outcome, right? It's financial success for you guys, and it's, you know, physical, you know, building the body of their dreams for your clients. Are there any, so now that, you know, closing this episode and kind of like wrapping up, is there anything else you wanted to say before we closed up?
Well, maybe we were thinking the same thing. I just wanted to ask, like, we always kind of like ask about people's past, present, where they're at or whatever, but yeah. I'm always like, you guys have a very unique stance on this, like, business thing. Like, a lot of people are very like attached to like the outcome and the money, and like they have, you know, certain things. For you guys, it just seems like
you take it day by day.
Yeah, right. So I guess I'm actually like fascinated by this, by like my question for you. I'm curious as to what you guys would think. Where are you guys going? Like, what do you have, like a vision, a goal? Like, I'm sure there's little things, micro goals along the way, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where, like, do you, like, are you guys like in your head like 10 years down the line, 5 years, 50 years? I don't like, what would you even say to that?
I'd say at least a year. I mean, like you said, we're literally taking it day by day. So
sure,
like we're just focusing on what we have to do, and the outcome doesn't really fucking matter, you know.
It's more about the momentum. He talks a lot about momentum. It's just keeping momentum. Like, we don't want to think too far, and then that take away from what we have to get done in that moment and in that day, and then that stump us the next day. So it's more of like he's just laser focused on the task at hand and just moving to the next one. And we, like he said, his favorite line is, "We'll figure it the fuck out."
Love it.
I've had a lot of people, and I think I've struggled with this too. Like, a lot of my mentor always told me, a lot of people in life, they want to win the Super Bowl, but they never worry about the preseason games and the games leading up to it. And all, you know what I mean? Each day is kind of like a preseason game and a season game, and like they're so focused on the, you know. And I think I've struggled with that too. Like, where am I going to be in 10 years, 20 years? There, you know, whatever. Like, and it's like inspiring to hear it from someone that's like, yeah, don't, like, it'll get here. Yeah. Like, you know,
I'll say this too, because I mean, I really saw this with you, Evan. Like, I saw you really, really in real time acting in a way where you weren't attached to the outcome. And one of the reasons I noticed this is because, and this is one of the biggest ways I can tell if someone's going to be successful in my program, is when I gave you the blueprint, like, and you even know this, like, when you started working with me, that was a year ago. And my coaching program is like, it wasn't anything like it was then, like it is now. Like, I don't even think I had the videos yet. I don't even remember. I don't even think I did. With that being said, like, and I've always been thankful for this because you trusted me from the beginning. But then it created a better relationship because you just fully immersed yourself in the process. Like, you really treated it. You did it like a bodybuilder, right? Like, you just listened to your coach. Like, whatever your coach told you to do, you'd fucking do it. If he tells you to eat fucking orange peels, bowl of orange peels, you fucking do it, right?
I told them that story.
You like that? Yeah. So, and why that's so important though is it's that fact alone, just the full immersion, just the, I'm not going to second guess Gabe. I'm literally just going to do exactly as he tells me to do. I'm not going to say, well, I don't want to do this and da. Just that alone, like, that was the biggest domino, I believe, in your success, you know, working together, because you just trusted me and you just fully immersed yourself in. Like, the opposite is this is where most people fuck up, you know, and we'll kind of end here, kind of, you know, get our way out, and you guys can tell them where to find you. The opposite, and this is where most people fail in this business, is because they do just enough because they're afraid that they think they're going to waste time, they're going to waste energy that they'll never get back, when in the reality, that's what they're doing right now. So that's one of the most powerful things that I want, the biggest takeaways that I want you guys to take away from this podcast is, like, yeah, we can talk about, you know, taking microdosing trend and, like, you know, fucking slamming caffeine and hitting a work block in the morning, which is obviously on a practical level what on a day-to-day basis, like what is leading to their success more so, but is on a deeper level, right? Is it really is a detachment from the results, and that's what allows them to be productive, right? And I'll even say, like, I feel like charged up for my business now. Like the way that you guys operate together and the way that you guys talk about business, it reminds me of when I first started my business, and not in that way, but like the enthusiasm that I had for it. Like even lately, transparently, like the past 3 months, I've been like, I have to do this, when it's like my business does 6 figures a month, and like I'm there, right? So I'm like, it's not even about the money, right? Because it's the same thing as like some days I'm like, I'm not even like I don't even feel charged up for my business. But having these conversations with you guys, it makes business feel fun again. You know what I mean? And that's when you can execute like a beast. It's like you're at the playground, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, Pops?
100%. And I just want to say,
so I really appreciate this conversation. This has been a fucking amazing conversation.
Huge.
I'm charged up. I'm inspired.
Likewise. And if I could just say this too, just so you guys know, like I said this off camera, but as well, just like congratulations, guys. Like,
you guys are killing it.
It's not just for you. Like you guys are obviously doing great. Like the bank accounts are growing. Like you guys are momentum, as you said. But there's like more people watching than you realize. And you guys can inspire guys just like you, like that want to do this with a friend, with a boy, like, you know what I mean? Like, and so it's not, again, don't get me wrong, what you guys are doing for you and your future family, whatever that looks like, is great.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of young men watching.
Yeah. And I want to say this too. One last thing. I know it's just like fucking still chill with the flowers, but
like, stop.
It's like, that's the biggest thing is like you with your business, you've created so much value for other people, and you have given back. You know what I mean? I'm super inspired by this conversation, and for those individuals that want to find you and tap in, where can they find you guys?
Yeah.
So I'm only on Instagram right now, Evan Quinn Fitness. If you see me on TikTok, some fucking Indian like stole my content, so that's not me.
He's not on trend.
Yeah.
Still got the YouTube as well.
Don't follow I have a small YouTube too. Not posting so much content on there right now. Not yet, at least, but mostly on Instagram.
Yeah, and you guys, I'm on Instagram as well. Find me at Colton Mercier. But yeah, so working back end with Evan, and then I also do coach as well. So find me there.
Awesome, guys. Well, episode 25. Peace out.